Hi, folks. I am joined right now by Julianne Bierwirth, and Julianne is from Distant Rabbit Games and is going to tell us all about Mantis Falls. So, Julianne, take it away.
Hi, thanks, Carol. So my name's Julie. I am one of the co-designers of Mantis Falls, and my partner and I, Adrian, are Distant Rabbit Games. It's the two of us. So Mantis Falls is a 2 to 3 player hidden trader game, meaning that, the traditional hidden trader format, think, Battlestar Galactica, Dead of Winter, all of that, but for very, very intimate, small groups. And so it is placed in you're in sort of a 1940s mob ruled town called Mantis Falls. You've seen something you weren't supposed to see and people are coming for you. You have to get out of town as fast as you can. And you're not sure you can make it alone. It's going to be a very dangerous journey. And you are told by some friends of yours that they can keep you safe. They can get you out of here, but they need you to meet up with another witness at this diner and make the trek out of town together to protect each other. You get to the diner, you meet this person, and you realize that you're not 100% sure this is the person that they had intended to send. Maybe this is a person who killed your witness and came in their place, and that they're here to kill you now next too. So for the 2-player game, there's a 50-50 chance that you're both witnesses to this crime. And in order to win, you have to win cooperatively. You have to both get to the end of the game together and alive. If anyone dies, everyone loses. But if there is an assassin in the mix, then it's kill or be killed. And you don't know, if you're a witness, you don't know which game you're playing. So you either have to save this person, pull them back from the brink of death, or you have to be the one to kill them. For the 3-player game, it's similar to that, except that there's 3 players and there's either 0 or 1 assassin. So that's sort of the 30-second version of the game.
That is so awesome. I was checking out the video for it, and the art in the game is so beautiful.
Thank you. That was my job, was art. Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love like the line work. It's all like really beautiful. Now I know that the game is huge, right? That there are tons and tons of cards involved also. So you did hundreds of art pieces.
yes, it was a fair amount of art. It was I mean, Adrian and I made this over 5 years. And with like full-time jobs and kids and all of that and stuff. So a slow 5 years.
With jobs and kids and like
but basically, I mean, it's been our entire relationship almost. Like we from being together for like, I think we've been together for something like 8-9 months. And we started making this, and now it's 5 years later, and we're still working on Mantis Falls. So it's been a big part of our relationship. So I think in some ways it didn't feel like like an extra job.
I love that. So
yeah, and actually, I mean, he had the idea. We've been really into games the whole time that we've been together, because he has a partly long distance job. So right now he's home because he's working online, but previously he was working in New Jersey and I'm in Georgia. And so we would, spend about half of the year together. He'd fly back and forth a bunch, and then on, holidays and summers and everything. But all the rest of that time he was far away and he was busy. And so online gaming through like Board Game Arena and digital apps and stuff was a big part of our relationship, trying to kind of stay in touch with each other. And we looked for a lot of games, a lot of 2-player games, and just really didn't find anything that was sort of immersive or interactive enough for us, especially from a long distance. Like what we wanted to have like a shared experience at the end of the day, but we found ourselves really frequently sort of invested in the math and the algorithm of like, here's how I win, and then not talking to each other while we're playing.
Right.
So he went through this really stressful phase at work and had just this like inspiration, which he does sometimes in all kinds of ways, had this inspiration for this game, and sort of pitched it to me and was saying, it's going to be something hidden trader games, but and so it causes a lot of interaction, but he wanted something that was far more deep strategy than that. And so he was sort of describing it to me over the phone. I was like trying to understand what in the world he was talking about, because we were not game creators in any sense of the word. And then he made a prototype. He actually got like the box, like we didn't know what we were doing. He got the box printed on Zazzle, you know, one of these like token, like wooden with like the inlay at the top. And we were playing it, and I was like, this is maybe the best game I've ever played. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I felt so, like my heart was pounding. I was the assassin. And he didn't know it, and he trusted me. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to feel so bad. We've been playing for like an hour and a half. Like, I'm going to pull the trigger on this. And I'd never felt like that in a game before, that level of intensity. So, right after that first play test with him, once he came back home, I was like, let's do this. I'll make the art for it. We'll perfect the gameplay. We'll, you know, and we thought it was going to be just, you know, just for the two of us. Like, what were we really going to do with this? Who publishes indie games? It's like, just seemed sort of far-fetched. And then I heard about, Keymaster Games, Kyle and Maddox here in Athens, crowdfunded their first game, Control, and they got like $80,000 and tons of backers. And I was like, well, that's like, if that's an actual way to jump into game creation, that would be really neat. Cause I feel like we would have a slim chance of like pitching this to a publisher. So we've sat down with them for, meetings for years, just like, what did you guys do? What do you recommend here? And they were incredible, super helpful. And then it started to feel more like okay, I guess we're really going to try this. And so all of this was sort of built out of our desire to have something that was really immersive and interactive for the two of us. And then our son, Taylor, when we first made it, was 9, I guess, something like that. And was just sort of at the, like, he was one of the first play testers. He was really getting into games and everything. And so we made the 3-player version, sort of the inspiration of having him join the game with us. And that was about like the max of where you still feel the intimacy of the small group, and it feels tense and important that you collaborate and cooperate, and there's not that like witch hunt kind of dynamic to it.
Right.
Yeah. And then, and then we launched it in, June of this year, 2020.
That's amazing. It's such an incredible story. I love that it came out of this, like the intimacy and the relationship. I could see, like, I feel like this is like the perfect timing for this game too, because most people are like living with very small groups of people with just like their partner or one other person, and like,
and realizing how bad their 2-player game collection is.
I have no 2-player games, just none. Or the games that I have for 2-player are not really 2-player. Like, you can,
it technically can be 2 players,
right,
if you take everything that's enjoyable out of it.
Exactly. So the fact that it's specifically designed for that is so appealing, especially during COVID times.
I thought we were shot. Like, I thought, because we were supposed to launch back in April, and then everything happened with COVID, and I was like, well, there it goes. Like, no one is going to be wanting to buy anything new for the rest of time. Like, this is going to be a huge, and it turned out that, you know, people weren't going out to eat. They weren't spending money at the movies, and a lot of people did lose their jobs. And so we wanted to figure out ways to sort of support those folks in their gaming too, because it's not fair that, you know, you can't enjoy a rich gaming life. So we did put the game up publicly on Tabletop Simulator on Steam. Although, you know, Tabletop Simulator costs money. We're getting it coded for Board Game Arena right now, so that people can play online.
That is so cool. It is so thoughtful that you thought to do that too.
Well, I mean, it just feels like, I don't know. We always just wanted people to play it. Like, that's, you know, it's exciting to have people play your game. And it's great if you can actually make it, you know, a successful business and make more games and everything. But this has been our baby for so long that, you know, it feels like we just if people want to play it, we don't want to stop them in any capacity. So, but I've launched it, and it's been going pretty well.
That's
been great.
I could totally see since we don't dress up and go out to restaurants anymore, I could totally see like dressing up and doing this. I love the film noir aesthetic, and so I could see like all getting dressed up in like 1940s clothes so that you could
You
have
know,
a
when we were first working on this, I was like, I could see like what people do with Arkham Horror, where they'll like, you know, dress up and have like a night of it and everything. And I was like, I could totally see people doing that. And Adrian was like, really? No. I'm like, no one's even gonna play this game.
He underestimated how much people love costumes.
I know. Yeah, he's not a costume person, but yeah, I was like, for sure there are going to be people. And then one of the first like reviewers, photographers that we worked with, literally hired a friend of his to be an actor to dress up as a mobster for the photo shoot. And I was like, you see, like people love costumes. They really do.
It's absolutely true. As a LARPer, I can attest to this. Like,
Yes.
most of the draw is getting to put on a costume.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I guess what's next for you guys?
Well, so we finished the crowdfunding. Right now we're in manufacturing stage. So we're getting samples from our manufacturer. We're trying to figure out all of the international fulfillment logistics. So we're heavily invested in that right now. And that should all be sorted out in the next month or so. And then yeah, we'll fulfill. We have lots of ideas for expansions, like very, very excited to get to work on those. There's so much. I had no idea how much work was involved in fulfilling a Kickstarter. And the funny thing is that I have so much respect for small game designers, because so much of this work would have been the same, whether we funded 6,000 people or 600 people. Like it would have been, and we still would have had to do the same level of sort of due diligence of the whole process. So I can't imagine, being at the level where you're so proud that you've gotten your game created and you still have, hundreds of hours of work in front of you to get it out to backers. Like that is truly a project of love and of passion. So
definitely. Yeah. Self-publishing is a mountain of work.
It really is. So that's been a lot right now of where sort of our heads are at. We have probably 4 or 5 other games that we've got in the can that they're sort of like we're excited to develop and release, and expansions. But
and this was your
we're
first game together, right? And now you're doing this more full time, more seriously.
Yeah. So I'm taking a break from all my other work for the next 6 months to focus just on Distant Rabbit, which is exciting.
That's super exciting. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's necessary. It's a lot of work, but it's also, it's what I would want to be doing right now anyway. I spend most of my day thinking about how to make the game better, what kind of expansions we can make, and, wanting to make sure that we're sort of being great about our communication, about, trying to do everything as quickly, but as accurately as we possibly can. So
yeah,
it's a fair bit, but it's been great. We have a couple of language variations that we're getting published, which is awesome. And we had something like 6,600 backers, which what a dream come true to be, sending this game out to thousands of people who will be able to play it and tell us what they think, which is mutually very exciting and also very, very scary. So
definitely. It's huge to have an audience that big up for your first game. Congratulations. I'm really excited to see everybody's feedback and
me too. Very, very excited. Yeah.
So let's say that you we're entering into this industry for the first time. You have no game background experience, and someone wants to do what you're doing. What advice would you have for them?
So basically, where I was like a year ago is the idea.
Pretend you're you a year ago.
I wonder what that would be like. I would say I would give a couple of warnings first. Mm-hmm. You've got to really, really be passionate about what you're doing, because it is so much work that if you don't absolutely love it, it will bog you down. And so make sure that's something you really, really love and that you truly believe in. I would also say, I think obviously what you were saying about COVID, I thought we were messed up with our timing because it was going to be economic collapse, but it just so happened that people wanted, small playable games, playable by small groups is what I mean to say. And I think that's where we got really fortunate in that there aren't other like very small group hidden trader games really. And so that is having something that's a different, not just a reskin, not just like a theme, a variation on a theme or like slight changes, but having something that actually opens up a door that wasn't open before is a pretty big deal. So finding new spins on what it means to play games, what kind of experience you have with people is, people are all about, I think, that the experience with other people. And if you can give them that, then they'll buy what you're selling all day long. And then I would also say that don't underestimate how much brand building, awareness building you're going to need to do. I mean, we did it for like a year. And right before we launched, we still had no idea if it was enough. And it turned out to be enough, which was amazing. But we had very little, we were telling people how many people we had on our mailing list, how many people we had. And people were saying like, I don't know, it might be enough. Like, we'll see. So I think we came into it thinking that we were just going to put it on Kickstarter and people would see it and they'd be excited about it. But the thing is, I mean, there's so much out there right now. People aren't going to see it unless you make them see it. And I would say the last thing, which is not so much a recommendation as it is a sad truth of the situation, I think, is that it actually costs a lot of money to launch this game, a lot of money and a lot of time. And if you're in a position where you don't have those things, that's going to make your job just so much harder. And I think, the responsibility should be on all of the rest of us to make sure that we clear that path a little bit so that great games can come to the forefront. And that people who have the money and the time to put up good games, but not necessarily the idea, would be best served collaborating with someone who could really use that voice in the world. So I think those would be my points.
Yeah, I love that. I completely agree with you. That's something that we care so much about at BostonFIG, is like giving a platform to people who don't normally get access to the same kinds of resources. And so, yeah.
And people have the misapprehension that because it's a crowdfunding platform, that we start out with $0, like that we just have a dream. And then ta-da,
takes money, and like getting the cards printed takes money, and like all the things that go into
it. The art, the video, the layout, the design. If you're not a graphic designer and you just have, a great game idea, oh well, who's ever going to see it if they're not seeing this like compelling visual thing that commands your attention over social media or, YouTube or something. So
don't underestimate the value of marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
those would be my main recommendations, I think.
Awesome. Well, this is a space for plugs. Where can people find out more about the game and buy the game?
Okay, so right now we are on GameFound. So GameFound is our pledge manager. So we finished our Kickstarter campaign. We're taking pre-orders on there. You can also find that link on our website. So distantrabbitgames.com or mantisfalls.com, either one. We also are on Instagram. We're at Distant Rabbit Games. We're on Twitter at Distant Rabbit. We're on Facebook, Distant Rabbit Games. We also have a Facebook group called Mantis Falls. We have a subreddit called Mantis Falls. We're on Discord. We're on Twitch, although I have not done a lot on Twitch. Still rather new to Twitch, so I'm getting used to that.
You're on like 20 platforms. It's
a lot of platforms.
Like so much to manage. Like
we're trying, we're trying. We're told this is how you do the thing. So, so my stepson and I sometimes will stream live games on tabletop simulators so people can get a sense for how the game plays. And that's pretty much all the places you can find us.
Excellent.
Email info@distantrabbitgames.com.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yeah.
Julie, thank you so much for joining me. It was a true pleasure to chat with you, and
Thanks, Kara.
I cannot wait to play the game.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to play it too. Thanks so much.
No problem.